Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Paul Enos joins us. He's the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Hello, is this D&D Roofing?
Yes, it is. How may I help you?
You did such a great job on my roof. May I speak to the owner?
I am an owner.
Oh, can I speak to your supervisor?
Sure.
How may I help you?
I love your work. May I speak to the owner?
I am an owner. We're all owners. Well, that's why at D&D we work so hard to keep your home safe and sound.
Oh, no wonder.
D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal. Local, employee-owned, here for you.
The holidays are upon us, a time of celebration, family gathering, and gratitude. There are gifts to be wrapped, feasts prepared, love shared, and memories made. Life is precious, so let us cherish each other and all that we have. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We thank you for letting us enrich your lives, and thank you for your support throughout the year. Happy holidays.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are always delighted to welcome back to the program Paul Enos. He is the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association.
And you're a landlord.
And, well, I was going to say, and we, the home of Nevada Newsmakers
That's right.
For 18 months now, and thank you very much for that. We really appreciate being here. Lots of things to talk about regarding the trucking issue. The first thing is you've been making presentations regarding marijuana lately.
So
tell us what your concerns are.
I was appointed as the co-chair of the American Trucking Association's Driver Health and Controlled Substance Task Force, and our first charge was trying to come up with some policy regarding marijuana. We have 93 million Americans today living in jurisdictions with legalized recreational marijuana, and we have this tension between state laws and federal laws that we've experienced here in Nevada, that an industry, trucking, that is federally regulated, that is safety sensitive, does care about. So trying to come up with some policies to protect an employer's right to drug test their employees, but also looking forward, doing more research. We realize that we have a tremendous amount of data limitations in this area. We have data limitations on the physiological impacts when you reset to baseline. I know if I go and drink, 7 whiskeys on a Saturday night, I'm gonna feel probably pretty bad Sunday, but by Sunday night, I reset to baseline. We don't necessarily know where that baseline is with marijuana because it affects different things. One of the things that we think we have an issue with is spatial recognition. That's a motor skill. If you're driving a truck or a forklift, kind of important. Unfortunately, the limited data that we have show you may be as impaired in that motor function 24 hours after smoking marijuana as right after smoking it. So,
would you explain what that is, spatial recognition?
So, how far is that obstacle in front of me?
Okay.
So, it's interesting. My wife and I, we drive around town, and we joke, are they old or are they stoned? Because somebody's going 45 miles an hour on the highway. Somebody who's drunk, they're much more apt to go fast, to run that red light. Somebody who's high is much more apt to stop at that green light. There's a compensation effect. So because of all of these different issues with how marijuana impacts you, and because we haven't had any robust research going on in this topic. The federal government says you can study marijuana, but only if we grow it.
Right. And there's only one place in the country that grows it.
Down in Mississippi. And people who are using marijuana aren't using the one that's grown by Uncle Sam. So we know we need to do more research into this topic to figure out what those physiological impacts are. We need better data in terms of highway accidents. A lot of times we look at alcohol and drugs and we just lump them into one. A lot of times somebody will be pulled over, and if they pop positive for a blood alcohol test, they don't don't go any farther. They don't go any further because it's expensive, because in a state like Nevada, you can only give somebody a DUI if they get a blood test. That's very expensive. So, I mean, there's a lot of issues that result in us not having great data on marijuana and its impacts. So we made a number of recommendations. One of the recommendations, something I feel very strongly about. I had a friend who was killed on Mount Rose Highway a year ago, and none of the drivers that were involved in the accident were given toxicology tests. We believe that, especially when you have a fatality, that you need to have compulsory toxicology tests for drivers of all vehicles. We think things like that will give us better data to really determine what the impacts of marijuana are on not just workplace safety, but for where my guys work and where all of us tend to go when we're going to work or going out the highways.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right, obviously, on every count. There's no argument about this. One of the problems that universities are having is that they receive federal funds. And so I would imagine that
one of our recommendations is we are lobbying, it's now one of our policy positions of the American Trucking Association, to ask Congress to lift those federal restrictions on marijuana research. So we know that there is work to be done to get better research. We know that we don't have capacities in labs to go out and do these toxicology tests. So, we're not just looking at, kind of one area, but we broaden it out. So, that was, one of our recommendations. We need more funding for labs. We need more funding for advanced roadside drug impairment recognition experts, the folks, the High Patrol. They need more funding. They need more training so they can identify those folks and remove them from the road. We need to give prosecutors the power to prosecute and remove those drivers that impaired from our roadways. So, we know that there are a lot of issues out there. Marijuana is different than alcohol because alcohol out of my system in 24 hours. I know an ounce of alcohol, your body metabolizes an ounce every 4 hours. We've known that. Alcohol's been legal for 80 years in this country, 80 plus years, 85 years. So we have a good understanding of what those impacts are. We don't with marijuana. We know that marijuana may be in your system, but you may not be impaired.
All right, so we know the Nevada delegation is in favor of doing lots of things to aid and assist in this new industry in the state. But what is the general consensus in Congress towards doing and accomplishing some of the goals that you're setting here?
I don't necessarily know that there's a general consensus. I think the folks that are in those states with legalized marijuana are looking at.
I just meant in Nevada, for example, with coming up with banking systems that allow companies like this to.
I know that those laws have been out there to create a banking system for the marijuana industry. Honestly, that's not where our focus was. Our focus,
right, of course not. Yeah.
Our focus is on how do we make our highways, our workplaces safer. We want to give the employers the ability to still test. We know that was an issue this last legislative session. We worked with Deanna Neal, who sponsored the bill, to make sure that an employer could say, yeah, we believe that this is a job position that could have an impact on safety, and we do want to deny hiring someone if they test positive for marijuana. So, we appreciate working with her in that. But, we also get into a number of other arguments about how drug tests are used. And for us, I'll cede all those arguments, and I'll always come back to talking about what is that impact on safety.
Oh yeah, to say the least. So going back to my original question then, so what is your sense of Congress that they are moving towards?
Sam, I honestly don't have a whole lot of faith in Congress to do anything right now. So, I mean, to say that that Congress is gonna go and try to resolve this issue, I love it, but hell, they can't resolve the USMCA Act that would do tremendous things for this economy today. I mean, it's a place where they play a lot of games, and frankly, what we're seeing on TV today, the first day of the impeachments, I don't think Americans care about because it doesn't have an impact on their daily lives. So for Congress to do something here, don't have a lot of hope for them, but I don't have a lot of hope for Congress to really do anything right now.
One of the things to bring up is the fact that obviously there were a lot of people using marijuana prior to it being legalized, because this industry didn't just suddenly turn around because a whole lot of people said, well, it's legal now, let's go smoke a joint, just like with prohibition.
True, but I will tell you, we have seen especially in safety sensitive positions, and those are positions that the federal government mandates you do a 5-panel drug test on, includes truck drivers, includes engineers, pilots. In the state of Nevada, since recreational marijuana has been legal, and we have this data from Quest Diagnostics, and you can check it out in our new newsletter that's going to come out the first part of December, we saw a 94% increase in positive drug tests in those safety sensitive positions for marijuana, from it being recreational to, or from it being illegal recreationally to ubiquitous and available. So we have seen an increase in those positive drug tests that weren't there before. Now, do people think, hey, now it's legal, I can do it? Maybe. I know a lot of truck drivers still say, yeah, I know I'm regulated under federal law, but there's some out there that say, well, hey, it's legal. I should be able to use it. There's some people that don't know that they're using a product that may cause a positive drug test. I mean, that's an issue that we have in the realm of CBD. There's a lawsuit in New York State right now with a truck driver who was using CBD for his back. It said, hey, no THC in it, and doesn't have to say it has THC unless I think it's 0.03, or I may be wrong on that, some percentage of
a small percentage
of THC in it. He tested positive for a drug test. So yeah, while most people know they're using a substance that is illegal under federal law, there are some cases, and really, some of especially in places where it's unregulated, where you're not buying it from a dispensary that has that product go through independent verification at a lab, like you see in Nevada on the little tags that they have on all this stuff, so you know exactly what's in it. So we have seen people get popped for using something they thought was legal and didn't have THC.
Is there a differentiation between medical marijuana and recreational marijuana in terms of the legalities?
Not in terms of a truck driver. If you are a truck driver, if you are in a safety sensitive position, no, you can't use legal marijuana. Just like if I have a CCW, can't have a medical marijuana card and a CCW at the same time. So once again, those are tensions between state and federal law that I would hope we could rectify. Don't have a whole lot of hope that this Congress is going to do it. Maybe a future Congress will.
The president has been very supportive of the trucking industry. He is also somebody that neither takes drugs nor drinks alcohol, and has been very clear about that. His brother sadly passed away from alcohol poisoning when they were younger. Does he, or is he and his administration supporting the Trucking Association in these efforts, or is this not an issue for him?
We just, as an industry, adopted these policy recommendations a month ago. So, honestly, that's above my pay grade to know if that conversation's been had with the president or Secretary Chow. Right now, we are operating under the current legal realm, and in federal law, if you are a truck driver, you cannot be impaired. You cannot have marijuana in your system. There is zero tolerance for marijuana.
All right, let's take a break. We have other topics to cover, and we'll be right back.
Timber Tamarack Junction is South Reno's hotspot with over 450 of the latest slots and video games. Sully Sports Bar, the Dining Car Restaurant, William Hill Sportsbook, and the Tamarack Steakhouse and Lounge. We're just north of the Summit Mall in South Virginia. Yeah.
Because of UMC, I'm putting my free time to good use.
Because of UMC, she keeps me on my toes.
Because of UMC and this guy, I'm here.
UMC, the highest level of care in Nevada.
Hi, I'm Eric Robnett, owner of Home Energy Experts. Has this ever happened to you?
Honey, did you remember to turn down the thermostat?
Forgetting to set the temperature? Not fun. We can help. Our new smart thermostat keeps the temperature set for your comfort all by itself.
I'm feeling hot now.
To increase your comfort, go to homeenergyexperts.com for details. That's homeenergyexperts.com.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
The Tamarack Junction Steakhouse is known for signature steaks, handcrafted cocktails, and world-class wines. Join us Thursdays and Friday nights from 4:30 to 6:30 in the Steakhouse Lounge for live music, gourmet plates, and well-priced wines, just north of the Summit Mall on South Virginia.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Paul Enos. He's the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association, as he points out, our landlord. Infrastructure. It would have seemed to have been the easiest play for the administration to have pushed forward with working on our infrastructure in this country.
I mean, we've had like 18 infrastructure weeks, right? You know, I think that there's a tremendous amount of pushback from members of Congress because you do have to find a way to pay for it. Our industry has stepped up. We say, hey, we are supportive of increasing the fuel tax.
Right.
We think that is the best way, the most efficient way that we have today to raise money for our roads. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that done. So this industry, when you look back and everything has to, you're kind of looking in the past. So when you look back nationally, the trucking industry congestion costs us between 2015 and 16, $74.5 billion of our folks sitting in traffic. That's akin to 400,000+ truck drivers sitting idle for a year. I will say in states like Nevada during that same time period, we actually saw a decrease in congestion. We saw a decrease because we actually had more projects come online. We have increased the fuel tax in both Clark and Washoe County, and we saw a reduction over that same time period of 11.2% in terms of cost to the trucking industry for congestion, which is equates to over $30 million a year. So we're doing some things right here in the Silver State that we haven't seen folks do across the country. I go back east, and to see the shape that their infrastructure is in compared to ours, ours is a lot younger. We're in a lot better shape than a lot of our other compatriots across the country, but that doesn't mean we can't do anything. I'm part of a working group right now, the SCR3 working group, that is trying to deal with electric vehicles. And they're looking at things like a vehicle miles traveled tax potentially being implemented at a penny a mile. DMV is going to start doing...
Are you okay with that?
Look, I think that VMT in some iterations where it's a black box in everybody's car and it's tracking your miles, I think that's a problem. Last week, I heard another iteration that was a low-tech system where you looked at fuel economy and you coupled that with a penny a mile charge. So, if you're getting bad fuel economy, you don't pay as much. If you're getting good fuel economy, It would be a way to get electric vehicles to pay. I'm also looking at things like, a potential, the way that we do fuel taxes today in most jurisdictions, diesel is the most energy dense type of fuel that we have. So diesel is taxed to the highest, and everything is taxed under that, kind of based on its energy equivalent in relation to diesel. If you look at how much energy is in a gallon of diesel compared to a kilowatt hour, it takes 40.3 kilowatt hours to equal the energy in 1 gallon of diesel, which is why 97% of heavy-duty trucks are still using diesel, because you have that energy density, and we just don't have the capacity to carry batteries that big. So, I think that there are some different ways that we can go in this to get electric vehicles paying their fair share for how they use their roads. The trucking industry, we're responsible for about 6% of all vehicle miles traveled. We pay anywhere in the state of Nevada from 36 to 40% of the fuel tax, or of not just fuel tax, but all taxes that pay for our roads. So we feel like we're doing our fair share. We feel like we have a very efficient system today, and we don't want to give that up for something that's going to have tremendous technology costs, administrative costs, infrastructure costs. And honestly, I'll tell you, this low-tech VMT solution, the first time I've heard vehicle miles travel tax and, not totally said no way, I'm actually interested in how we're moving forward. We're working with the chair of the Assembly Growth and Infrastructure Committee, Danielle Monroe-Moreno, and with Senator Chris Brooks. So, these are things that, we're trying to come to some solutions moving forward.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be back with Paul Enos after this.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Come visit Design Outdoor's store and backyard to see our wide selection of fire pits, barbecues, and pizza ovens, natural stone water features and fountains, and frost-proof pottery. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
One of the most psychologically damaging things parents can do to children in divorce
is disparage one another.
which is why I can't believe I even have to make this commercial. Half of your kids' genetics come from this person you're spewing hate about. Your children have the right to love you both, but more than that, they deserve to love themselves.
Marilyn York might be a men's rights divorce attorney, but this is for every selfish parent. Shut up!
Hi, I'm Dave Newman. Remember me? I used to be the house detective, and now I'm a realtor, full-time at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates. A lot of people ask me, how's the market? You know what? It's fantastic. If you're even kicking around the idea of buying or selling, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Call me at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates and just ask for the guy who used to be the house detective, Dave Newman.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, continue our conversation with Paul Enos, the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association. Ray Bacon was on the program talking about autonomous trucks being built out at TRI. Do you hear the same things?
You know, I've heard, Tesla has autonomous electric trucks. I've looked at a number of other technologies that are out there. I was down in Scottsdale, Arizona, for the unveiling of the Nikola truck, which is a hydrogen-powered truck. Maybe be better than electric, we'll see. That also has autonomous functions. There's another company down in Arizona, Too Simple. Nevada, we still have a good law in terms of the development of autonomous vehicles. But to me, I don't see it as a way to get rid of the driver. I see it as a way to give drivers and the rest of the folks on the road that safety cushion. Because if the truck can react a lot quicker than a driver when it sees something out in front of them and hits the brakes, or it can correct if it feels the truck starting to camber and roll over. It can correct that with hydraulics. I mean, I think those are all great systems that, hey, we shouldn't just have in trucks. You know, we should have in all vehicles. Now, does it come with a cost? Absolutely. I will tell you, and I'll tell anybody out there watching today, this is still a career where you can start today as a truck driver and retire as a truck driver 30 or 40 years down the road. So, you know, I don't think autonomous is going to get rid of the need for a truck driver. I mean, they're still moving freight that has tremendous value. You still need to have that personal contact, just like with the airplane. I mean, well, pilots are still operating airplanes that can, you know, take off, fly, and land themselves. I think we're going to see that with trucks. We're just going to see it be a job that is less physically taxing and safer.
And that's where I have to leave it. Paul Enos, thank you for taking the time, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Sam.
it.
Appreciate it.
And we'll be right back. A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hey, Dad? Why are you learning? This place is great. Huh? You gotta try this.
Wow, this stuff is great. People are gonna love it.
Yes. Yes, they will.
St. Ives Florist, for every holiday and every special occasion. For romance. Custom home design. We have the largest selection of fresh flowers in northern Nevada. And we also offer a large selection of unique gift items. Come see me, Lori Ann, at St. Ives Florist, 700 South Wells Avenue, or call me at 333-9190.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com. You can also download podcasts of the show free of charge at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everywhere is Nevada Newsmakers. We'll see you on the next broadcast.